This is Colby Park in Windsor Heights, right outside of Des Moines, Iowa. This is the park I would always go to when I was younger. I love the giant slide, the play structures, but most importantly, the swings. In 2024, the whole playground area of the park was demolished and rebuilt from the ground up as part of a Windsor Heights initiative to revitalize their parks. So now there's new slides and new play structures, but I'm looking around here and I'm not seeing any swings, new or old. What did they do to my Colby Park? This isn't the only example of my swings being torn away from me. When I was younger, I'd also visit the Greenwood Park playground, which also had a swing set, as any good playground should. But when I showed up one day in 2016 after a renovation, the swings were removed. What did they do to my Greenwood Park? I can excuse one time, but 2 times? I had to look deeper. So are swing sets being removed from park playgrounds, specifically in the Des Moines area? And if so, why? To investigate, I first reached out to the Des Moines Parks and Recreation Department. Surely they have a historical log of all their playgrounds and their features over the years, right? Okay, maybe not. It's okay, we have plan B. I went through the list of every park on the Des Moines Parks and Rec website. We'll throw Windsor Heights in there too for fun. I chose a park, went to Google Earth, and checked whether that park had a swing set. I then used Google Earth's historical data to travel back in time and see whether that park had a swing set 15 years ago. From cross-referencing the satellite images, street view, and sometimes even visiting the park myself, I could determine if the park previously had a swing set and if it was removed in the last 15 years. I then repeated these steps for every single park on the website. There's over 60 of them. This took a while. But hey, on the bright side, I'm now the only person in the world with a spreadsheet marking the historic data for every single swing set at Des Moines public playgrounds. And I'm not sharing. Okay, I guess I'll share. Out of the 50 parks in Des Moines and Windsor Heights that had swing sets 15 years ago, 22% of them either no longer have swings or no longer have playgrounds at all. That's certainly not a majority, but it is significant enough to suggest a trend. There's also a couple of parks that were newly built with swing sets in the last 15 years, but overall it's still a downward trend. And to clarify, at any point in this video if I use the word swings, I'm just referring to traditional single-axis swings like this, not like bucket swings or whatever. So why are swing sets disappearing from public playgrounds? Well, the reason I've always been told is safety. In a study looking at traumatic brain injuries at playgrounds from 2001 to 2013, researchers found that swings were the second highest cause for injury at 28.1%, right behind monkey bars, which caused 28.3% of injuries. What do these pieces of equipment have in common? Heights. The most dangerous pieces of playground equipment all involve kids falling from high places. For swings, add in the speed and the risk of slamming into an unaware child that runs in front of you, and it makes sense why they're a little more dangerous than a seesaw. The US Public Playground Safety Handbook outlines strict rules for the kinds of surfacing that playgrounds and swing sets are expected to have. They recommend shock-absorbent materials like rubber or loose-fitting wood chips, because you might be able to guess they're a little less painful to fall onto than concrete. But when I was looking at the Playground Safety Handbook, I noticed another reason why swings may be getting removed. According to the handbook, swing sets are required to have 6 feet of space on either side, with the front and back having clearance of a length at least twice the height of the swing set. On top of that, it's recommended that swing sets are placed away from other play equipment. This means that swing sets require a footprint over double the space of the actual swing set itself. That's a pretty big ask, especially when parks don't always have a ton of space to play with. Sure enough, when I emailed the Des Moines Parks and Rec department, they claimed that any swing sets removed in the past few years were due to space concerns. They never brought up safety. And in the 2020 Windsor Heights Park Master Plan that removed the swings from Colby Park, one of the goals was to, quote, replace play equipment and consolidate play areas by utilizing structures that can accommodate more uses with higher play value and less footprint. So maybe the reason swing sets are being removed isn't actually due to their safety risk, but rather because it's really annoying and takes a bunch of space to build swing sets that follow the regulations to mitigate that safety risk. But that's kinda sad, right? Swings are my favorite part of any playground. It's the whole reason I'm doing this investigation. And it's not just me. In a 2010 Australian study where children were interviewed on their playground equipment preferences and had their behavior observed at parks, 70 to 90% of children expressed interest in playing on the equipment considered challenging. Kids like taking risks. That's like a core appeal of a playground. You can't just engineer the risk out of a playground and expect it to be just as enjoyable. The core tension here seems to be between risk and safety. It sounds like the more you have of one, the less you have of the other. But I don't think this is necessarily true. Playgrounds should be places where kids can take calculated risks for themselves. Allowing them to develop these decision-making capabilities isn't just more fun for them in the moment, but probably better for them in the long run. And yeah, sometimes they'll take a risk that's too big and they'll fail, but that's part of the learning process too. So, do I think that swing sets should be completely deregulated? No, probably not, but the government could loosen up the rules in a way that makes it easier for parks to build swing sets where safety and risk can exist in harmony. So one day in another 15 years in 2040, I hope to sit here at Colby Park on the newly built playground featuring a newly built swing set. And even though I will be 35 years old by then, I will still swing. Now, how do I get down from here? Sorry, ignore the fact I'm recording this on an overcast Tuesday morning at sunrise. There's no other point in time where this park isn't littered with like millions of children.